Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So today we're doing a review and demo of the James Charles Morphe palette. We're both wearing the looks right now. We also have a ton of looks on our Instagram at Twintorials if you want to go look at them there. But yeah, if you want to see how we created these looks, just keep on watching. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit extra with the James Charles palette here. We used this on vacation. So we've got a ton of looks up on our Instagram if you want to look at those at Twintorials. There's a baby right there. So if you hear any, that's her. And so yeah, we're just going to be playing with the blues and the greens and putting the red in the waterline so we look like we are on some drugs. So first up, oh my god. So first I'm going to start off with my P. Louise base in Rumor 01. And prime my eyelids. I'm going to use this Real Techniques base shadow brush to blend that out on my eyelid because that's what Mitchell says to do. Alright, so now that we are sufficiently primed, I'm going to go in with the bright orange shade right there. I don't keep the name slips, so you're just going to have to go off what I point to, but I'm just going to blend that into the crease with a scone blending brush. That's all it's called, a scone blending brush. Then I'm going to buff this yellow shade kind of in the inner corner area. I prefer the yellow from the Life's a Drag palette. I don't think this yellow is that great, but we're still going to use it because it's in the palette, so I'm just going to take it on the same brush and put it right up in here. And I'm going to load it up because, like I said, I don't really find it to be the best yellow. And then we are going to start on the outer corner, which is kind of a pain in the butt. The darker shades, like like this blue here and the purple, don't blend very well. James explains that in his video. You're meant to tap them in, but I'm still kind of learning how to work with them well. So I'm going to take a mix of this blue here and this blue here and put them on my outer V. Actually, before that, I'm going to take my Morphe E47 and my Too Faced Peach Perfect powder and bake right along the sides of my eyes because I don't do winged out looks like this very often, so I need a safety net. Alright, now we're going to do the two blue shades on the outer corner. We're just going to kind of tap them on as well as we can. At some point you need to blend a shadow, so I don't really get the only tapping thing, but I'm learning to work with it. So I'm just going to place that here, my outer corner, and kind of blend it eventually. I'm going to start with that darker blue shade and then grab the lighter blue shade after. It's kind of going into my eyebrow, but I accidentally did that last time, so I have to accidentally do it this time. And then I'm going to take the black shade in the palette here and put that on my outer corner as well, just to deepen up the blue. And right now it's not looking too patchy, but on the other eye I did it more to hide the patchiness. But we're just going to place that on. Relax. And then I'm also going to use this BH Cosmetics V20 brush and dip into that original orange shade and kind of blend out the blue at the top. Then I'm going to take this Luxie 131 mini angled brush. We got this in a BoxyCharm. And I'm going to take this dark green here, and then I'm going to go into this lightest green on my inner corner. Or not my inner corner, but like the inner third of my eyeball. And I'm just going to pack that on and kind of blend it into the blue. Now going in with that lighter green. I do wish it was a bit brighter. It is a really pretty green, but it oxidizes on the eyelid, which bothers me a lot. But it is really gorgeous just for a bright green shadow. So I'm just blending that into the darker green color. And I'm going to just go back in with that Scone blending brush I used originally and kind of just buff over this whole mess. Here's where we do the wing. This wing will not be on camera. No way, no how. I did the wing and I messed it up horribly, and then I accidentally stamped it like right here. So then I had to clean that up, and it was just a whole mess. I don't do winged eyeliner. I just don't. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and then I will be back to do like the lower lash line in the inner corner. So just give me a second. Okay, so the wing is done. It's a little bit bigger than the other eye and all of that, but that's fine. So we're just gonna go back in with the same Luxie brush and do the same thing that we did on the lid. So go in with the lightest green, the darker green, and then the two blues here, and then we will add a little bit of the black on the outer corner. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay, so I have that done to the best of my abilities, so I'm just going to wipe off the bake with this e.l.f. brush. I'm not sure, it's nameless.
Flawless concealer.
The e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush. Then we're going to do the red waterline. We're going to go in with this red shade in the palette here, and this BH Cosmetics number 16 brush. BH Cosmetics number 16 brush, it's like a small concealer brush. We're just going to pack that into the waterline. It's going to look absolutely scary because it'll just catch in my eye, and it's going to look like I am on drugs or I'm a zombie or a vampire or something like that. But once you blink it out a little bit, it looks fine. So just tapping that into my waterline here. Alright, so that's terrifying, but we're just going to let it blink out. When you use shadow in your waterline, you gotta blink it out because he's painful. And then for the inner corner, I'm just going to start with the white shade, and then I'm going to add the yellow on top and a little bit of this shimmery color right here. But I'm just doing that because the yellow isn't bright enough for me personally. But I still do want the yellow on the inner corner. So starting with the white shade, I believe it's called Flashback. Packing that onto the inner corner. And then grabbing a ton of that yellow shade and packing it on top. And then grabbing that shimmery shade and topping it as well. It mutes the yellow a little bit, but I wanted a bit of shimmer. And then with that same brush, just taking that shimmery shade and lightly grazing my brow bone. I'm not a big fan of brow bone highlight, so just a light dusting. I'm gonna go off camera and put on some lashes and mascara, and then this look will be completed. Alright, so this is my completed look with the Morphe James Charles palette. Vic will be up next here, but she did something a little bit more natural, so I want to do something like crazy. I will be back with Vic at the end of the video to share our final thoughts. Alright, so here we go with look number 2. Before we start, I do need to disclose something here. Yes, I know my highlight looks awful. No, I don't want to talk about it. That's all I have to say on that matter. I tried something new and it did not work out. It looked pink in the pan, but it is yellow as crap. So we're gonna go on to the second look using the Morphe James Charles palette. I played a little more with the pinky neutrals, probably because I just dyed my hair corally. So I wanted to play around with these. I have played a lot with the color though. So this is kind of out of the box for me with this palette. Anyway, beginning with this shade right here and my Morphe M433 brush. I'm going to just put that in the crease and outer corner, and I'm going to be really like swirling it in and going to town on this one. I did already prime with the P. Louise base, but I like to let that sit a little bit on my eyes because I am prone to eyeshadow creasage, and I really wanted to give that base another shot because I do really like the coverage it gives. Next on a BH Cosmetics number 8, 3, or 9 brush. I can't read, I think it says 9. This is from the Rose Gold set. I'm going to go in with this shade right here, and I'm going to do the same thing, just a little lower. And I do sort of pack this shade on before I blend it out. That's just sort of my preference with these shadows. And then going in with the deepest purple right here, I'm going to do the same thing, but again, lower and just a little more on the outer corner rather than the crease, more down here, and then sort of bringing that onto the lid. And next on a Morphe M441 brush, I'm going to take these two shades right here and mix them and then just blend out all the edges. And then for my lid shade, I'm going to go in with this color right here. I'm just going to use that on my finger. So this shimmer right here does require a bit of building. I don't find that it's really like that metallic or that pigmented. I feel like it's kind of just okay. I do like the color and it looks nice once it's built up, but this definitely isn't like a one swipe pigment kind of color. I do prefer the shimmers in the original Jaclyn Hill palette, as well as the Dare to Create palette from Morphe. And then I'm just going to work on lower lash line. Then I'm just going to work. Oh my goodness gracious. And then I'm just going to work on the lower lash line. I'm going to use that original shade we used again for the transition and really buff that out on the lower lash line. I'm just going to take that same BH Cosmetics brush and the deepest purple shade that we used. Go in down there. Just not a ton of product though. This one does have enough depth and enough pigment to it that I don't want it all chilling down here. And then for the inner corner, I'm going to take a Luxie 121 brush and the shade right here. I believe this one is Pinkity Drinkity. Don't quote me on that, I have no idea. And I'm going to pick that up pretty heavily. Again, this one doesn't have a ton of color payoff to it. It's not super metallic, but I do like this shade, and I'm going to put that on the inner corner here. It's like a little pop. Now last step, I'm going to take this BH Cosmetics number 7 brush. This is from one of the marble sets, and I'm just going to take the black in the palette, and I'm going to put this on the outer corner. Well, I guess this isn't the last step. I still need liner, but it's pretty close. And I'm really just focusing this right at the edge here. I'm not bringing it up too far. Then for my waterline, I'm taking the BH Cosmetics number 11 brush, and I'm going to take the hot pink shade right here, and I'm just going to pack that into the waterline. I don't own a lot of colorful eyeliners, so this is really what I do when I want some color in the waterline. Oh wow, this one's a lot brighter than the other side. I'm gonna have to redo that then. But fair warning, if you have sensitive eyes, I definitely wouldn't recommend this for you. I kind of have sensitive eyes, but not enough that I care. There's some burning, but it fades. Okay, so this is my completed look. I just threw on a pair of TL Mitchell's by Tati Lashes. And so I guess we'll just sum up our final thoughts on the palette. So I do like this palette, don't get me wrong. I'm going to say a lot of negative things here, but I do actually really enjoy the palette. Yeah. One of my main gripes is that the shimmer shades are not that good. This shade right here is really nice, and this shade is pretty good too. And then like the golds are nice, but like these shimmers require some building. This is a topper shadow, and I really expected more from it. It does look really cool, like layered on top of things, like on top of a black or like a dark purple looks nice. But it does just bother me a little bit because I love like a bam shimmer, and this color is the first one that popped out at me when I saw the preview for this palette. As well as I do find some of the shades are a little harder to work with. All up here, these are really easy to work with shades. Down here, the deeper mattes are a little tough to work with. That being said, I have not watched any of James's videos regarding tutorials on this palette, so I don't know if there's like a certain technique that I'm missing that he's doing. I know he said padding works well, but that hasn't always worked for me either. And I can normally get shadows to work. I'm not an expert by any means, but I can get really crappy shadows normally performing okay. So I do really like the palette. I think this color scheme is absolutely unmatched. I think it's so gorgeous. What?
There's two of us here.
Well, I was just gonna sum my thoughts up, and then you could do yours.
Okay, keep going.
Well, you stopped me now. I can't.
Well, I was sitting there like waiting to chime in because I have the same thoughts as you.
Well, I thought maybe yours were different. Well, I don't know. Then you do it.
No, we're both doing it.
You
but
stopped me.
Go on such a tangent when there's two people here.
Well, you told me to start. You do it now.
I said start, not do the whole damn thing.
Well, Vic's upset. I pretty much have the same thoughts on the palette. She just wouldn't stop talking. I'm sorry. But yeah, the shimmers are kind of so-so, and then some of the colors just fall flat for me. Like that yellow doesn't work very well, and then the white isn't really that white. The Life's a Drag palette, the yellow and the white in there are 10 times better. But I do really recommend this palette, surprisingly, as long as you think that you can kind of work with it. If you think it's worth the hassle of like sometimes patchy shadows, then I would say by all means go for it. It's really not that expensive for as big as it is, as colorful as it is. But this, I wish it had like the Jaclyn Hill formula or something like that.
Yeah, or the Dare to Create formula is much better than this one.
Mm-hmm. But I still think that since the colors are so beautiful and it's such a unique like palette, that it's definitely worth spending the money on it just to see if you like it. But I haven't noticed too much fallout, even though the shades are hella powdery. But yeah, that's pretty much our thoughts on it. I apologize for the child there making noises. But hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, go ahead and like and subscribe. Like and subscribe! Like and subscribe! If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel and comment down below any video ideas or what you think about the palette. And then you can go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Twintorials if you would like to. But yeah, that sums up the video. Bye.